Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. That was the cold open. Never
mind. News 3 WSIL. Here's what's happening right now.
A fire destroys a local historic church. We have the absolute latest tonight.
Plus, an SIU student who was shot at a house party shares her experience.
And SIU is still waiting on millions of dollars that was promised 2 years ago. News 3 at 6 starts right now.
We've got you covered. From WSIL, this is News 3 at 6.
We begin with that fire in Hardin County. This is video of that century-old church burning yesterday evening. The historic church caught fire around 6:30 and completely burned to the ground. Good evening, I'm Mark Kiesling.
And I'm Julie Williams. That fire happened at the Richland Church in Hickstown. That's in Hardin County near Elizabethtown. Witnesses say they saw a car parked at the church with its headlights on. An hour later, someone saw the church on fire.
Our crew on scene this afternoon saw smoke still coming from that building. The church's Facebook page operator, Lena Morsch, tells us the church has seen a lot of history and survived storms and illnesses. She says her great-grandmother was a founding member in 1887, and the lumber used to build the church came from her family's property. She says losing this church is like a death in the family.
Every family that grew up in that area has a connection to it, whether they met their husband or their wife going to church there, whether their children were baptized there, whether memorial services were there. It's just intrinsically connected to everybody within the county. I think it's safe to say everybody's just in shock and horrified that something like this happened.
The cause of that fire is under investigation. Right now, News 3's Maya Skinner is on the scene at the church. So, of course, stay with News 3 for any updates, and Maya will have a more in-depth report for us tonight at 10.
We had bright blue skies early in the day, but late in the afternoon, we started to see clouds moving in, and now they're thickening up. We expect the clouds to stick around overnight. It will work in benefit for some of us because we'll get a little bit of insulation, hang on to some warmth. I hesitate to say it that way. It just means it won't get quite as cold in places that see thicker clouds. And you can see clouds almost completely covering the sky now. This is a live camera view coming in from the Perryville Airport, and winds have laid down. We do expect calm winds tonight, so that helps beat the chill a little bit. Forecast map show clouds expected to increase all night long. There is some rain that's moving this way. It looks to me like we could see a sprinkle or two, maybe a light shower in the southern part of the Boot Heel very late tonight or early tomorrow morning. On the other end of the map, we see something we haven't seen in a while. That purple line is back. That's the line we use to highlight where there's a chance of seeing temperatures down to 32. Anywhere north of that would be colder than 32. So generally here we're talking about along and north of Route 13 in southern Illinois, a chance we see freezing temperatures tomorrow morning. Some of that has to do with will the clouds thicken up or break a little bit. Thicker clouds could keep temperatures around 33 or so, but I think we're going to see some freezing reports coming in. 9 o'clock temperatures tonight, if you're out and about, looks like upper 30s across southern Illinois. Murray could even cool off southern heights in the low 40s, but by tomorrow morning, there's a whole lot of readings on that forecast map suggesting we will see some freezing temperatures tonight, especially in our northern counties. But over the next couple of nights, I expect it to get even colder. We're going to talk about some 20s in the forecast. That's coming your way in just a bit.
2 weeks ago, an SIU student was shot at a Halloween party and survived. Tonight, she speaks out about what happened that night.
News 3's Madeline Parker has more from the 19-year-old on how that night changed her life.
Pure scariest moment of my life right there.
Michelle Dietzel is a sophomore at SIU Carbondale. 2 weeks ago, when many SIU students were celebrating an event called Unofficial Halloween, Dietzel went to a house party with some friends.
The guy who was checking the IDs from the front ran through the front door and started grabbing people and throwing them down on the ground and said, "Everybody get down." That's kind of when I was like, I don't think this is how a party's supposed to go.
According to Carbondale police, officers responded to the 700 block of West College Street after receiving calls of shots fired at a residence where the party took place. Officers found 2 victims with gunshot wounds. One of them was Dietzel.
I reached back and I felt something like cold and hot at the same time. And I kind of just put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, oh my God, I've been shot in the back of the head.
The bullet lodged itself into the back of Dietzel's brain, causing her to lose her eyesight.
Like, I can't believe this happened. Like, I was trying to get the college experience and I'd get shot in the back of the head.
Dietzel was quickly taken to the hospital where she was prepped for surgery. She regained some of her eyesight, but the bullet wound left permanent damage.
I have eyesight from here over. I've lost both peripheral visions in both eyes. And they said I may not never get that back. But I'm just happy that every day I get to wake up and at least still be here.
In Carbondale, Madeline Parker, News 3.
Friends and family of Dietzel have set up a GoFundMe page to help her with her recovery. You can find that information on our website. News 3 reached out to Carbondale police, who tell us they cannot release more information on the case right now because it is an ongoing active investigation. 2 Illinois Democrats want to repeal an existing state law that prohibits hanging items from a vehicle's rear view mirror. The current law allows police to stop drivers for minor offenses, but Democrat candidate for Secretary of State Alexi Janulius and State Representative LaShawn Ford contend those encounters are often racially motivated and can end in violence. Other states are taking similar action, classifying such offenses as secondary violations. That means police cannot use them as the sole reason to pull over a driver.
SIU Carbondale has been waiting 2 years for $2 million of innovation funds. In February 2020, Governor Pritzker said Illinois would give $500 million to 15 institutions. It would expand the Illinois Innovation Network. SIU planned to invest the money in iFirm. That's a program to promote food research and manufacturing. But SIU says other projects got the money shortly after the announcement. SIU says they didn't. The university has raised other money for that project, but it needs the state money to continue.
The city of Louisville will pay more than $3 million to 7 people who say they were sexually abused by police. Those individuals say they were abused while taking part in the police department's now defunct Explorer program for youths interested in law enforcement. 3 officers named in the suits were convicted of federal sex-related crimes. The division of the funds will be left to an arbitrator.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear wants Kentuckians to get their booster shot. All vaccinated Kentuckians are eligible for any of the boosters. Governor Beshear says COVID cases and hospitalizations overall are going down, but he says there are more breakthrough cases being reported. Right now, Kentucky's positivity rate is at 5%, and that was reported Sunday. This is the first time in about a month that there is not a day-to-day decrease in that. And Governor Beshear and First Lady Brittany Beshear want your artistic talents for the Team Kentucky Gallery. It's in the state capitol in Frankfort. You can submit your artwork. Here are the requirements. It has to be at least 18 by 20 inches, and it cannot be bigger than 48 inches. Your artwork does have to be framed. It can be landscape, portrait, or an abstract. Include your name, address, phone number, and the name of your piece. Selected artworks will be displayed for 6 months in the Capitol and online, and you'll get your piece back after each rotation. You have until Monday, November 29th to submit your artwork.
The National Quilt Museum in Paducah is hosting a Meet the Artist reception. It celebrates the opening of Valerie White's Roots and Refuge exhibition. The exhibit discusses how roots and people are the same, intertwined and connected. The event is Friday from 5 to 7 at the museum located at 215 Jefferson Street. Everyone is invited.
You can topple the tow truck this weekend. PMR Marion and Toys for Tots will collect toys this Saturday from 10 to 2. They'll be at the Rural King in Marion, and next Saturday, November 13th, they'll be at Jack and Josie's. They accept new unwrapped toys and cash donations. Jefferson County CEO students will host a classic car show this weekend. Broadway Showcase is this Sunday at Ford Square in Mount Vernon. Registration starts at 10 in the morning and the show is noon to 5. They'll have a raffle basket and you can vote for your favorite car. We have more information on WSILTV.com.
Also this weekend is the 58th annual Miss University of Tennessee at Martin and 22nd annual Miss Tennessee Soybean Festival Scholarship Pageant. It will be at 7 this Saturday evening at the Bowling University Center's Duncan Ballroom. Both pageant winners will compete in the statewide Miss Tennessee Volunteer Scholarship Pageant in Jackson next summer. Tickets are available at the Bowling University Center welcome desk. They are $15 for general admission, $10 for students. Just ahead at 6, we visit a local animal shelter to meet another pet looking for a forever home.
Plus, we have the sunshine today, and it was kind of chilly still. June's forecast is ahead on News 3 at 6. Right here in our region, animal shelters are overflowing.
And we're trying to help some of those pets find a family to call their own. News 3's JC Brianne takes us to Murfreesboro.
Meet Gage, an 8-month-old collie mix looking for his forever home.
He was part of a litter of 10, and everybody's been adopted but Gage. So he's actually been with us 194 days, and that's way too much.
Diane Doherty, president of the board at St. Francis Care, says Gage has spent nearly his entire life at the shelter.
I think he would be very easy to train. He's as lovable as can be. So, we don't know. 8 months, he's still, you can shape him, as far as they don't have much baggage, and he's been here the whole time.
Gage is full of energy, gets along with other dogs, and loves to play.
He hasn't been around many kids. We do have some employees with kids, but as far as that, you know, you'd have to take it one step at a time to get him adjusted to the little ones. Same thing with cats.
Doherty says if you have kids or another dog, Gage can go on a home visit to make sure he's a good fit.
We've lowered his adoption fee from $300 to $250 just to try to get him a home. You know, his 9 brothers and sisters got adopted, so he probably feels like he's not loved, and he is so loved, and he's really a beautiful dog. He's a beautiful, beautiful dog that we just need to find his forever home.
In Murfreesboro, JC Brianne, News 3.
For more information on adopting Gage, you can visit WSILTV.com. And for more adoptable pets, check out our Pets of the Week segment. That's Thursdays on News 3 this morning.
Colder air is pushing this way, a little wave of energy moving in as well. We did see an increase in clouds this afternoon. I've also seen some of my gardening buddies have been busy preparing for the push of cold air. A lot of tomatoes have been pulled off the vines, even some green ones, hoping to ripen those up inside. I have a suspicion a lot of salsa is about to be made, maybe some tomato sauce as well. Clouds increasing across the region. Clouds are going to work in our favor. We're going to get the little bit of blanket effect, and they are thickening up as we look at our live view in Williamson County. They're high clouds, so it doesn't bring a big risk of any type of rain or snow or ice pellets. We saw a few ice pellets reported last night, but freezing conditions are possible, especially in our northeast counties, where I think clouds will be the thinnest, but threat tracker bar all the way to the bottom and only to the low mark for the next couple of nights, when I believe we're going to see freezing temperatures and likely going to see 20s spread across much of the region. Our farthest south points might stay in the low 30s, but I still think we're going to see a bunch of 20s. This is effectively going to be the end of the growing season, and for allergy sufferers, maybe the end of the pollen season on some of the stuff as well. Temperature is going to drop off into the mid 30s pretty quickly tonight. As clouds thicken up, it will hold the temperatures there through the low 30s, but by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, we'll likely already see some temperatures around freezing in our northern sites. Southern sites, the thicker the clouds get, the warmer it will stay. And we see a little bit of that going on already just in the color coding across parts of southeast Missouri. You see the shading coming in the greens, where the temperature is hanging just a little closer to 50, but everyone else dropping off through the 40s pretty quickly. And even right now, 37 in Garden City, North Platte reporting 39. And Great Lakes are cold as well. A lot of readings in the 30s up there. Indianapolis reporting 39 as well. Now, if the clouds are going to help us, this view gives some hope, right? Because as we look back to the west, what's moving this way, it's actually clouds with a little bit of color enhancement. This is the signature of a whole lot of cirrus clouds, what are normally the high thin clouds, but they're likely a little bit thicker than normal. And then just west of there, enough cloud cover that we are seeing some rain shower activity. Been tracking that activity for the past 2 or 3 days, because even a couple of days ago it looked like we might see some of that rain move through southeast Missouri tonight. Forecast maps roll it through the Boot Heel, maybe West Tennessee by tomorrow morning. This would barely be some sprinkles, but much like what we saw last night, could include a few ice pellets as well. Not talking about accumulation because it's going to be a little bit warmer, but also look at the thickness of the clouds. Even in the forecast here, you can see not as thick a clouds in the north, and that's where it's going to get just a little bit colder and where we have a chance of actually seeing some freezing conditions. By tomorrow afternoon, expect those clouds to move on out of here, and that sets us up for the nights where I'm pretty darn sure we're going to see freezing conditions all across the region. Tomorrow I call it partly cloudy because I think we start the day with some clouds, but look for a lot of clearing by afternoon. Thursday and Friday mostly sunny to just beautiful, brilliant blue skies all day long is a possibility as well. But clear skies means temperatures fall at night. We are looking for 20s both Thursday and Friday morning. Even Saturday morning, we could see freezing conditions across the region, and then a little bit of a warming trend kicks in. I mean, we're going from 20s to 60s. That's got to be called some kind of improvement for some folks. Mixed in with that, we'll likely see some winds come in early next week with some clouds, but the next significant chance of rain, more than a week away. So we are going to get several dry days in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dry, but cold.
But cold.
Yeah, that sums it up.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Every Tuesday is Giving Tuesday here at News 3 WSIL. There are countless charities working to serve those in need.
And in just a moment, we'll introduce you to one group making a difference. But first, it's postseason time for high school volleyball.
Jake joins us right after the break to preview some big sectional games coming up.
One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are 10 days away from the start of the IHSA State Volleyball Finals, and there's a good chance several of our area teams could be making the trip to Redbird Arena in Normal. Last night, Carterville Volleyball was able to down Carmi-White County in straight sets 25-19 and 25-14. The Lions will face Nashville on Wednesday night at 6 in the Johnson City 2A sectional match. Nashville beat Hamilton County in straight sets in order to advance. These two teams are not the only area teams playing on Wednesday evening. Let's take a look at the scoreboard in Class 1A. Wayne City will be the home of Wednesday night's sectional showdown between Norris City, Omaha, Enfield, and Cumberland. This match also starts at 6. In the other 1A sectional, Valmeyer squares off with Jabo at the same time. We'll have some scores and highlights tomorrow night right here on News 3. At 6-2, the Titans seem to be sitting pretty right now. Very pretty, that is. They have a nice lead in the AFC South and rallied in overtime to beat the Colts on Sunday. Tennessee, though, suffered a gut-wrenching blow in the victory, the loss of Pro Bowl running back Derrick Henry. So no more Derrick for Tennessee. Henry is expected to miss anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks after injuring his foot. The running back leads the league in rushing yards with 937 and touchdowns with 10. The Titans star had successful foot surgery today, but the team is not announcing when he may return. Tennessee signed former Vikings great Adrian Peterson to help fill the void of Henry. Titans coach Mike Vrabel says the loss of King Henry is not an excuse to not play well.
Know that he'll do everything that he can to work himself back, to be able to help this football team. We're going to have to be creative, and we're going to have to figure out, answers and way to, move the football and continue to run our offense.
Henry, touchdown!
Up next for the Titans, a big one, a meeting with the 7-1 Rams in L.A. on Sunday Night Football. And speaking of national sports, we're less than an hour away from Game 6 of the World Series in Texas. Atlanta holds a 3-2 series lead over Houston. A Braves win tonight will give them their first World Series championship since 1995. The Astros last won the Fall Classic in 2017. An Astros win, of course, would force a Game 7, which would be on Wednesday night. That'll do it for sports here on News 3 at 6. Let's go back to the desk.
Loved these people since the day we arrived. When you love something, you protect it.
All right, superhero fans, you'll love this one. The newest film in Marvel's cinematic universe hits theaters this Friday. Eternals is a group of heroes who started thousands of years before the Avengers. The movie Eternals also includes the MCU's first deaf superhero. You can catch it all in theaters on Friday.
And coming up on News 3 at 6:30, the Cairo Port project is getting attention from U.S. billionaires and foreign investors. Plus, opening statements begin in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. And major elections were held today across the country. We'll look at some key races. We invite you to stay with us to hear more on those stories and more.
Yeah, News 3 at 6:30 starts right after this break.
we've got you covered. From WSIL, this is News 3 at 6:30.
Hello again, I'm Mark Kiesling.
And I'm Julie Williams. The Cairo Port project is getting attention from U.S. billionaires and potential foreign investors.
A delegation representing Taiwan visited the area today to get a breakdown of the project. News 3's Danny Valle has more from Cairo.
All we're doing is taking advantage of what is currently here, and that's the Mississippi and Ohio. That's the confluence that can go straight to the Gulf of Mexico, lock-free.
The Cairo Port could open the door to economic prosperity. At least that's the hope for Senator Dale Fowler, project leaders, and members of a Taiwanese delegation. They all gathered at the Magnolia Manor Tuesday for a presentation on the port's current status.
I think the presentation is great, especially nowadays. The timing could have been better.
Johnson Chiang is the delegation's director general, and he says global supply chain congestions have hurt Taiwan's ability to receive products like corn and soybeans, two of Illinois' signature crops. Chiang says the port could help sustain Taiwan's important trading partnership with the U.S.
We are ninth largest trading partner with the U.S. We purchase a lot of agricultural products from here, Midwest, especially Illinois. So we see, Midwest as a land of opportunity.
Cairo's place on the map has routinely garnered attention for its port potential, and it's why business leaders refuse to speak to News 3 about it. Some say they'll save their excitement for when the port is actually built. But Senator Fowler says that time is almost here, and residents should take notice.
That's going to be, to me, almost equally exciting to create hope and prosperity and resources for the community, not just Cairo, not just Alexander County, but all of Southern Illinois. This is gaining nationwide attention and international attention, of course.
Reporting in Cairo, Danny Valle, News 3.
Governor J.B. Pritzker earmarked $40 million for the project. About $1 million has been used on permits. Construction is slated to begin next year, with operations scheduled to begin in 2024 or 25.